We're coming off a euphoric high of Steph Curry telling the French night-night on our own home soil, en route to him getting his first gold medal in his first and probably only Olympics, just to watch him go and play with Draymond Green and Kyle Anderson. 49ers had one of the most decorated rosters this past season, built with all-pro talents, quite literally at almost every position, just to have Mecole Hardman score the game-winning touchdown in overtime of the Super Bowl as time expired, and losing to Patrick Mahomes. Again, Gabe Kapler, Giant fans. You thought Gabe Kapler would be the answer to all your problems. And the Sharks have not been relevant since the pandemic hit. Meet the Bays, a collection of either washed or disappointing teams. And welcome back to Y'all Hate Sports, Part 22, Bay Area Teams. This is part of our first pit stop in the state of California because, trust me, we'll get to the LA teams. But the Bay Area is one that is a tourist attraction. The West Coast equivalent of New York. You can quite literally find any and everything to do near and in San Francisco, whether it be biking on the Golden Gate Bridge, or visiting Alcatraz, or enjoying the floral forest abundance there. There's a reason that the 49ers and Warriors have some of the biggest fan bases in their respective leagues, because who wouldn't want to be a fan of these teams, right? Let's cut to the chase. I've been watching basketball for most of my life and been in social chats to know who and what teams people like, yet I've never actually ran into a lifetime Warrior fan. I'm not talking about the Splash Brothers era either. I'm talking about the We Believe era, led by Baron Davis, Monte Ellis. Scratch that. Show me a lifetime Warrior fan that was there for the Chris Mullin days. Hey, Curry bandwagoner, yeah, you watching this video right here. Do you know who Chris Mullins is? How about Jason Richardson? Mitch Richmond? I see why Tolu hates Steph Curry so much now. It's really not his fault that he's the greatest point guard of all time. I'm not blaming Steph for anything he does, but his fans have got to be the most uneducated, nauseating Glazers of all time. And half of them wouldn't be able to tell you a bench player for the Golden State Warriors prior to 2010. In the track history of anybody staying over any person ever in the history of anything does not have a good reputation. Collectively, you really are trashy people. I could take a crow from the street right now, and I bet you would be a little bit more educated than most of the entire fan base is. Not to mention entitled because of the dynasty Curry blessed you guys with. You have the entitlement of a Patriots fan and the blind delusion of a barb. It is bad when fan bases that the rest of the world hates even hates you. I think more people should hate you. I don't think you're hated enough. Speaking of fan bases that everybody should hate more, let's talk about the Niners. Fan base that everybody thinks is so wholesome and sweet and kind, and look at how great they travel to see their team play. I'll even go as far as to say that I personally know some great 49er fans. This video ain't for y'all, but let's be real. They are the West Coast Cowboys. They are put on a higher pedestal than them, and they are beloved more than them, and seemingly get away with more shameless actions than them. Oh, well, maybe it's because they've actually won conference championships, PC. And you know what? To that, I say fair point. But can you show me a recent ring? The last one they got has collected more dust than the Cowboys' last ring. And it's not like they haven't had chances. They blew a lead after a blackout in the Harbaugh Bowl. They lost because they thought Jimmy G was the answer to their franchise QB problems. Then they lost again to the same guy because they thought Brock Purdy was the answer to their franchise QB problems. And now the cracks are finally showing in the foundation. They already lost a lot this offseason, including potentially losing out on a massive offensive threat in Brandon Ayuk because a certain GM decided to not extend him before Justin Jefferson, who we all knew would reset the wide receiver market because it's Justin freaking Jefferson. There is no underdog story for a team that consistently fails at the biggest spot possible every time. And yet, every single year, the fans and the team get away with it. And the fans online want to talk about how they face adversity and how we deserve to win, this and that, left and right. They want to bitch and complain for an entire offseason about how they were down to their third string quarterback and like that was our fault. Then flex a regular season win only to lose to the same guy in the Super Bowl. Let me make something very clear for you 49er fans. You may have the rest of the world fooled as likable heroes, but even heroes live long enough to see themselves become the villain. And sooner or later, the world will see y'all for your true behavior and actions. Especially if your team fails again, which at this point, it's expected. And I would speak more on the Giants and Sharks, but they are simply both the teams that just want to be involved in the conversation. They want people to acknowledge their existence or be taken as a threat, but let's be real, nobody is scared of the Giants team this year. Nobody is scared of the Sharks, for sure. All in all, the Bay Area teams all have one thing in common: loyalty and community. I don't mean the typical loyalty that you see when you visit any other team's place, no, but that kind of loyalty and community that is welcome if you're an outsider, are not accepted by the world, and for that, I will always have respect for San Franciscoans. But your teams have some of the most two-faced, ignorant, self-absorbed people to represent them. There's a reason everybody cheered when LeBron killed the Warriors dynasty. The only reason that everybody didn't cheer when the Niners lost is because they all hate to see Mahomes win. So, take care of your franchise kings while you have them, because there's no real chance you will see them win a championship again. My name is Billy Cameron, and I'll see you on part 23 of Y'all Hate Sports.